One fine day, a young man just stepped out of the crowd, raises a gun, and fired two shots. And that single event had triggered a war that changed the world forever. More than 16 million people lost their lives, and an empire completely collapsed. But how? How could two bullets start World War I, the deadliest conflict the world has ever seen? Hello everyone. Today we'll uncover the real causes behind World War I and how a chain reactions has pulled the entire world into this deadly conflict. The most important reasons behind World War I are: number one, the rising nationalisms. In the early 1900s, many countries in Europe were filled with a strong feeling of national pride and competitions, and nationalism was spreading everywhere. People started believing that they were superior and deserved more power and territory. And powerful nations were competing among themselves for land, power, and influences. And countries like France, United Kingdoms, and Germany were trying to become the most powerful nations in the world. And in the regions like Balkans, different ethnic groups were fighting for their independence, which made this area extremely unstable. These intense nationalisms created tension between the countries and made them willing to go to the war. The most The second major cause of World War I was militarism. The belief that strong military power was the key to national security. European countries began building huge armies and weapons. Nations like Germany, France, and United Kingdoms were preparing for the war long before then it actually started. This arms race has increased fear and suspicion among nations, and Europe was becoming a massive arms game, and it was just waiting for a spark for the war to begin. The second The third cause and most dangerous part of World War I was the alliance system. Countries promised to protect each other if war started. Europe was divided into two major alliance systems. On one side, there were Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. On the other side, there were France, Russia, and United Kingdom. These allies meant that if one country went to war, its allies would automatically be dragged into the conflict. And this created a dangerous domino effect. But the immediate trigger of the war happened on June 28, 1914, with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and he was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist who wanted independence from Austro-Hungary. He just stepped out of the crowd, pulled out a pistol, and fired two shots, one at Archduke Franz Ferdinand and other at his wife, and both of them were killed on that particular event. And that event is known as the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. After the assassination, things moved incredibly fast. Austro-Hungary blamed Serbia and declared war, and automatically the alliance system began to activate. Russia supported Serbia, Germany supported Austria-Hungary, France supported Russia, and United Kingdom finally joined the war after Germany invaded Belgium. Within weeks, most of the Europe was at war. So, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to Austro-Hungarian throne, was not only the sole reasons behind World War I. It simply triggered the event. Years of nationalism, militarism, and political tension had already turned Europe into a ticking time bomb. All it needed was a spark, and that spark came from two gunshots at Sarajevo. By the time the war ended in 1918, more than 16 million people lost their life, empire collapsed, and border changed, and the world was never the same again.